Boys and girls, I am excited about history because we get to continue learning about the pioneers. So first, let's look at some of our maps. We learned several mountain ranges in our last history lesson. So we have the Appalachian Mountains.
Appalachian Mountains.
Now, are they on the East Coast or the West Coast, Taylor?
East.
Yes, sir. Very good. And remember, that's where the people were living in the East when it got so crowded and they wanted to move across to the West. Any place that had not been settled yet was considered the West. So they would have had to cross the Mississippi River, the longest river. They would have had to cross the Great Plains. And they would have had to cross over through the Rocky Mountains. And the Rocky Mountains stretch all the way along the East Coast in the United States, Alaska, which is one of our states, and even into Canada. So the Rocky Mountains is a very large mountain range. And now let's go to our next map. We haven't sung our continent and ocean song in a long time, so let's do it together. Ready? Asia, Europe, Africa, then down to Antarctica, North and South America, last of all Australia, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, the Arctic and Southern too. You did a wonderful job remembering that. Now, without any helps or clues, you think we can say some of our states we've learned? All right, let's do it together.
Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York,
Massachusetts, Rhode Island,
Connecticut,
Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina,
Florida,
Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi.
Louisiana.
You did a wonderful job. Now let's have a challenge match between Taylor, Journey, and students watching. What state is this?
Ohio.
Yes, ma'am, Ohio. All right, Eloise.
Georgia.
Oh, Journey got that one too. Sahana.
Louisiana.
And Journey wins 3 in a row. Give her a microwave. I'm so proud of your hard work. Now, like I said, we've been learning a lot about our country and how it grew from the people traveling across the Great Plains through the Rocky Mountains, and they traveled in special forms of transportation. Do you remember what they were called, Sahana? The pioneers traveled in what?
Wagons?
Yes, specifically covered wagons. If you remember, I told you at night they would form a circle with them. It became a defense for them, students watching. They didn't know if the Native Americans that lived in those areas were friendly or not. So they made the shape of a circle, and the people would set up their campfire at night, and they would eat together. They would sing songs to calm the animals that were with them, and the animals that led the wagons, of course, and they would use it as defense and protection at night. Now, this is a very special picture that has to do with a song we're going to learn about. But before I tell you about this, I have some stars that I want to give away, and we're going to see who has been really thinking about their history facts. So students watching, if you know the answer, you say it where you are. And in my classroom, you're going to stand tall, and I'll call on you. Who were people who dared to move west? Atlas.
The people who got squished and wanted to move.
That's true, and they had a name. The ones who started traveling west. Lucas? Pioneers is correct. He has a star already, so he's out of the competition. So he's going to sit and think of the answer. Who was one of America's first great pioneers? Taylor? Kai? Daniel? Alana?
Daniel Boone.
Yes, I needed his whole name, so Alana gets this star. Keep trying, though. What land did the pioneers travel across? There were hardly any trees or tall grass. Hardly any trees, but tall grass. It was called, they traveled across the, Eloise?
Mountains?
No. Isabella?
Hill?
Macy.
River.
Students watching? Prairie was the correct answer. They traveled across the prairie, so Mrs. Chapel gets to keep that one. All right, here's another one. What large animal lived on the prairies and provided fresh meat for the pioneers? Austin? Kai?
Is it
Atlas?
Buffalo.
Buffalo is correct. If you're standing, that answer's on the tip of your tongue. Here's another one. What animal did the children try to catch? Kai?
Prairie dogs.
Yes, sir, that is correct. Remember, if you have a star, just stay seated and think of the answer. What mountain range did they have to cross to get to the west? And I just mentioned it on our screen. Taylor? Austin?
Rocky Mountain.
Yes, sir, you were listening. All right, this is from our last lesson. Who led the wagon train? The person had a name. Layla?
Wagon master.
Yes, ma'am, just like the schoolmaster, the wagon master. Now, this one everyone should know, but only those who don't have a star. How did families travel west? Isabella? What did they ride in?
The wagon of the things that had the color things on top of it.
Yeah, so shorten what you just said.
The wagon cover.
Switch it.
Cover wagon.
There you go, with a little help from your friends who were encouraging you. Well done, boys and girls. Maybe I'll have some more questions next time. Now, as I was saying, let's get back to this picture. This is a picture of Pikes Peak. This is a very special mountain range, and it is in Colorado. And a lady by the name of Catherine Lee Bates was traveling there one day in mid-1800s, and she saw the beautiful mountains, the beautiful sky that God had made. So she sat down and she wrote a poem. And that poem became America the Beautiful. She said it to the tune of a hymn that already praised God, and so she was able to share that with others. Her name again, Catherine Lee Bates.
Catherine Lee Bates.
Good job listening. And it was 1893. I said the mid-1800s. It's closer to the end of the 1800s. So 1893. And it should be Pikes Peak, not an L. So let me just grab my pen and change that for you so we can make that a K. So Pikes Peak in Colorado. Raise your hand if you've ever been to Colorado. Students watching, maybe you live in Colorado. Great job. And again, she wrote it as a poem, then she set it to the tune of a hymn, and then we have our special song, which we get to sing together. So everyone stand tall.
A beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, boys and girls. And this is a very special Bible verse that is in our book, but I wanted us to read it together. Maybe this is something that she thought of throughout her life when she was having trouble, and she just remembered those beautiful mountains. Maybe this verse came to her mind. When you're having trouble, you lift your eyes and your attention to God, and He will take care of you. Let's read it together. The Bible says, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. Psalm 121, 1 through 2. Thank you, boys and girls, for reading carefully. These are two words that we're going to see in our book in just a moment. Journey, would you read the first one?
Diligent.
No, it's just a short I.
Discount.
Almost. This is an sound.
Discouraged.
Yes, when you're discouraged, you just need to trust in God. And read our next one, Taylor.
Spacious.
Yeah, something that's wide open, a lot of room. So we're going to continue reading today together, starting on page 100. So if you'll turn in your books there, please. All right. Page 100. And we're going to start with these folks to read for me. And those on this side of the room, make sure you come this way for me. Eloise, Atlas, Sahana, Lucas, Taylor, and Alana. Alana, you can come this way as well. All right, starting at the top of the page. Atlas. Corral.
Corral, a closed-in area. The pioneers had to work together and help each other. At night, the wagons formed a circle. This made a fort for protection. It also provided an area to corral the cattle. The corral would keep the cattle from wandering off or being attacked by wild animals.
Thank you, sir. Lucas.
As the pioneers traveled westward, many of them put their trust in God for protection. Perhaps as they left the Great Plains and headed into the Rocky Mountains, they were reminded of the Lord's constant help.
Thank you, sir. And you can see the Bible verse that we already quoted together. Isn't that a beautiful picture of God's beautiful creation? We ought to thank Him for that every day. Now, as we continue, we're going to read about some songs that the pioneers would sing at night. Eloise?
In the evening, the pioneers scattered around the campfire. The children ran around and played games such as London Bridge and Leapfrog. Then someone usually got out a fiddle and everyone joined in singing. Maybe you have heard this song before. Did you know the pioneers sang it?
Good job with your question, Eloise. Now you can see the words to this song. This is one that we sing in our class singing time. So if we have time at the end of history, we'll sing it together. But I do know we enjoy it in our class singing time. Now turn to the next page. Here's another song that they would sing called Skip to My Lou. And this is a fun action song. And it's one that they got to enjoy at night as well. Now down at the bottom there are some questions, but we're going to go ahead and continue with our reading and come back to those a little later. So now let's read about the problems that they had, students watching, and what they did when they ran into trouble. So Sahana, let's read our vocabulary words with her. Ready? Discourage, determination, which that word means working with a decided purpose. Go ahead, Sahana. Long O sound. Although
it was an adventure, pioneer life wasn't easy. Wagon wheels broke, some wagons turned over, others got stuck in mud. Sickness was the biggest problem pioneers faced. Most of the time, there was not a doctor or medicine to help them.
Thank you, Sahana. And Alana, continue.
A few families got discouraged. Some turned around and went back home, but most families kept on going. These pioneers showed great courage and determination every day. Meant new adventures, but also new hardship and hard work.
Thank you, Taylor. You may continue.
Pioneers were just too busy to stop and think that each step they took. They were building a great country, America. If you were moving west with pioneers in a covered wagon, what do you think would be your greatest adventure?
Ooh, well done with your reading. You can go this way, Taylor. There you go. You go that way. I'll go this way. Thank you. All right, so what do you think would be your greatest adventure? Kai?
Traveling.
What specifically about traveling? What would you do on the wagon, on the trip there, that you think would be, wow, this is amazing?
Play.
Play, all right. Atlas, what about you?
Prairie dog.
Oh, playing with them. Journey? Reading the Bible. You could do that at night by the campfire. Layla, what about you? Seeing the buffalo? That would be exciting. I think it would be exciting to see the Native Americans, which some of them had never seen them before until they got west. Let's continue on the next page. I need Austin to come up, and Atlas again, Taylor, and Eloise. So Atlas, you can go ahead and start reading there. Let's do the vocabulary words with him. Ready? Colorado, spacious, burro, which is a small donkey. Go ahead.
By 1893, many trains had crossed the Great Plains to the west. That was the year a teacher from the east, Catherine Lee Bates,
Long A.
spent the summer in Colorado. One day she took a trip to the top of Pikes Peak, a very high mountain in Colorado. How was she going to get to the top?
Thank you, Atlas. You can go this way. Atlas, that way. Thank you. And Eloise.
First, she rode in a wagon. Then, when the wagon and horses could go no further, she rode a burro for the last 6 miles of the trip. When she reached the top, she saw great mountains, rolling valleys, and a beautiful blue sky. The words to a poem began to fill her mind. She called her poem America Beautiful.
Thank you. And Taylor, continue.
Later, a magazine printed the poem. The people who read the poem liked it very much. They asked if the words could be put to music. At last, Miss Bates found a hymn tune that seemed to fit her poem.
Thank you. Austin.
As you sing the first verse of America the Beautiful, pretended you are with Miss Bates. You are looking at the high mountains and the valleys around Pikes Peak for the very first time.
Thank you, sir. Now rest your history books. You can look across the page. You can see the poem. The words are written there. Of course, it was a poem, and then it became a song, To America the Beautiful, and we did get to enjoy singing that together. But again, you can see the beautiful picture at the bottom. God has His creation. It's all around us. We just need to take the time to enjoy it, don't we? Now, on the next page, you have some questions to answer, and then some matching to do at the bottom for the 4 patriotic songs we have learned. So students watching, I want you to finish those questions on page 102 and this page with your on-site teacher. And the next time we meet, we are going to be talking about a very important event in American history, and that was the start of the Civil War.